All right, lesson 19, rate of change. Okay, so a slope, which is usually abbreviated as m in the y equals mx plus b equation, is defined as the ratio that compares the change in vertical distance, so up and down, to the change of the horizontal distance, or across. In the coordinate plane, slope is the difference in y values divided by the difference in x values, and it can be calculated by the following formula, which can be found on the reference sheet. Given 2 points, x1 and y1, and x2, y2, we get m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So there are 4 different types of slopes. You have a positive slope, a negative slope, a horizontal slope, or 0, and a vertical slope, which is undefined. So when m is greater than 0, you have positive slope. When m is less than 0, it's negative. When it's horizontal, m will equal 0. And if you have any number divided by 0, it's a vertical slope or an undefined slope. Remember, you can't divide by 0. Bad things happen in the universe. Okay? So any fractions that can be reduced to the same fraction in simplest form have the same slopes. So for example, the slopes m equals 2 over 4, m equals 3 over 6, and m equals 1/2 are all the same because 2/4, 3/6, and 1/2 can both reduce to 1/2. Okay? So test taking tip. Tests will often expect that you are able to calculate a slope from 2 given points. Find 2 points on a line and calculate the slope, or find the slope from a diagram in a problem-solving situation. Example 1. Find the slope of the line that passes through the coordinates 2, 3, and 1, 4. Then determine the type of slope. Okay? So since x1 equals 2 and y1 equals 3, that's my first point, and x2 equals 1 and y2 equals 4, I just substitute these values in and solve. So I have y2 minus y1, or 4 minus 3, over x2 minus x1, which is 1 minus 2. So 4 minus 3 is 1, 1 minus 2 is negative 1. 1 divided by negative 1 is negative 1. Since the value of m is negative 1, the type of slope is negative. Example 2, find the slope of the line in the graph below. To find the slope, start by locating an integer. Any integer point on the line. Okay? Now locate a second point. Count the vertical distance between the 2 points, then count the horizontal distance. Place the vertical distance over the horizontal distance and reduce the fraction if you need to. So they picked these 2 points. You can pick any 2 points that you want. I could have picked this point and this point. I could have picked this point and this point. Doesn't really matter. You're just going to reduce it anyway. The slope of the line is 2 over 1. I go up 2 units and to the right 1, which means m equals 2 over 1, or 2. Slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. So parallel lines, which the symbols are 2 bars, almost like railroad tracks, have the same slope. So perpendicular lines, which meet at a right angle, so they look like an upside down T, are 2 lines that intersect, forming 90-degree angles. To find the slope of a line that is perpendicular to a line with a given slope, multiply by -1 and flip the fraction. Okay, so basically, it's multiplying by the multiplicative inverse or the reciprocal. Okay. Find the slope of a line that is parallel to a line with slope m equals -2. Since parallel lines have the same slope, we don't have to do anything. It's just -2. Okay? But I want to find the slope of a line that's perpendicular to one that has a slope of -3. I flip the sign, so negative becomes a positive, and then I flip the fraction. Okay? Well, 3 isn't a fraction, but I can make it a fraction of 3 over 1, and when I flip it, I get 1/3. So to find the slope of the line that's perpendicular to a given line, multiply the original slope by -1 and flip the fraction. Okay. So example 5. A submarine rose to the surface at a slope of 1/5, as shown in the diagram below. What is the horizontal distance that the submarine traveled between when the submarine was 75 feet and when the submarine was 125 feet above the seafloor? Since the slope represents the pattern that the submarine followed, for every 1 foot of vertical climb, it traveled 5 feet horizontally. Since the vertical distance between point A and point B is 125 minus 75 equals 50 feet, the following proportion can be used to determine the horizontal distance. So I have 1/5, which was my slope, which they gave us in the original problem, and then equals 50 over x. Solving the proportion provides the answer. 5 times 50 gives me 250, and 1 times x is 1x, or just x. So I get x equals 250. So the horizontal distance that the submarine traveled was 250 feet. All right, go ahead and work on the exercises below, and that is the end of lesson 18.